Episode 49, Presenting Analysis to Executives, we explore how to turn careful analysis into action. Executives do not reward models for elegance, they reward clarity that enables decisions. The art is to condense complexity into a message that moves the room toward a choice. Analysts often fall in love with their tools, but leadership values relevance over rigor once credibility is established. Your task is to guide attention, not overwhelm it, to make the next step obvious and the reasoning transparent. When you master this balance, your analysis becomes a lever for progress rather than a lecture about detail. Begin by framing the conversation around the business question, not the method. Replace "we built a model" with "we set out to answer this question." Every executive engagement should start with purpose. What decision are we here to make, and why now? State it in the vocabulary of impact, cost, schedule, risk posture, or strategic opportunity. This opening grounds attention and earns the right to explain how you reached your findings. A sharp question turns analysis from abstract exploration into targeted insight, setting expectations for both depth and direction. Use a single, high-level narrative slide before any appendices or backups. That one page should contain the central question, your key findings, the top risk drivers, and the recommendation in plain language. Think of it as a headline and 3 supporting sentences, not a miniature report. Everything else, the charts, simulations, sensitivity tests, lives behind it for reference. The goal is a clear storyline executives can grasp in a single glance, because decisions do not wait for page 37. When the essence fits on one frame, your audience listens with focus rather than fatigue. State assumptions and confidence levels simply. Replace jargon with short, declarative sentences. Labor rates assume current contracts, confidence moderate. Schedule risks include supplier delays, confidence low. This honesty disarms skepticism and invites discussion rather than interrogation. Executives rarely expect certainty, they expect awareness. When you acknowledge limits and express how much variation matters, you build trust. Confidence language should feel conversational, strong, moderate, or low-backed by a sentence about what would increase or decrease it. Clarity of confidence is more persuasive than any statistical flourish. Show options with trade-offs in neutral, decision-ready terms. Each option should fit a clear structure: the benefit, the exposure, and the resource cost. Avoid adjectives like aggressive or conservative, which carry unspoken judgment. Instead, describe what shifts between them: investment size, confidence level, delivery timing. Use comparable units so the trade-offs are intuitive, such as expected value, range width, or contingency required. This framing transforms debate from opinion into structured choice. When options are balanced and transparent, leaders can align around intent rather than preference. Present quantitative ranges, not precise numbers. A credible window like $10 to $12 million sounds confident. 10.25 sounds brittle. Ranges communicate realism and remind everyone that uncertainty is managed, not eliminated. Pair each range with the condition that defines its edges, perhaps supply stability, regulatory approval, or productivity rate. Executives will often ask, what would narrow this range? That question opens a perfect opportunity to request resources, data, or authority to reduce uncertainty. When your numbers breathe, your audience stays calm and engaged. Separate near-term from long-horizon items so decisions can scale appropriately. A RESC due next quarter demands different urgency than one likely in year 3. Divide recommendations into act now and monitor later, but keep both visible so long-term exposure is not forgotten. This simple temporal framing helps executives allocate attention and budget intelligently. It also signals maturity. You are not chasing every possible issue at once, but managing a balanced portfolio of immediacy and foresight. The meeting moves from reactive firefighting to structured governance. When you reach the decision point, ask for something specific. Vague requests yield vague outcomes. Define whether you need approval to proceed, funding to execute, or a steering signal to refine. Express the decision in one sentence, using verbs that start movement: approve, fund, defer, or endorse. If the request involves multiple executives, specify who owns the call. This precision honors their time and prevents follow-up confusion. The hallmark of an effective presentation is not applause. It is a clear, recorded decision the team can act on by end of meeting. Always have a fallback ready if the decision is deferred. Executives face competing priorities, and delay is sometimes rational. When that happens, pivot gracefully. If we postpone this choice, here is how we'll maintain momentum. Update data, monitor key signals, and revisit next month. This preserves initiative and keeps attention warm. A fallback also demonstrates professionalism. It shows that indecision will not paralyze progress, and that you have a plan for uncertainty and decision-making itself. Few things build confidence faster than a leader who anticipates pause and plans through it. Anticipate objections in advance and prepare crisp, evidence-backed replies. Common executive pushbacks follow predictable themes: data quality, scope realism, resource limits, or alignment with strategy. Draft one-sentence responses for each. For example, we validated these numbers against 3 prior projects, or we've aligned this risk with the current portfolio tolerance. Do not drown objections in slides. Answer them with calm precision. A confident, concise response signals that you have thought beyond the spreadsheet into the organizational reality that drives acceptance. Document decisions and owner assignments immediately after the discussion. Summarize what was agreed, who owns execution, and when results will be reported. Distribute this summary within a day while memory is fresh. This habit converts insight into accountability. Executives operate through delegation. If ownership is unclear, progress dissolves. By naming owners and next steps right away, you protect the meeting's value and create a reference point for follow-up. Decision documentation is not administrative. It is the final, critical act of risk communication. Commit to follow-up dates and measurable indicators before closing the session. These markers sustain confidence that the issue remains under control. Indicators might include updated cost ranges, delivery milestones, or risk driver trends. When leadership sees steady updates tied to prior commitments, their attention sharpens and their support deepens. A meeting that ends with future signals agreed is a meeting that stays alive in the organizational bloodstream. Consistent follow-up transforms presentation from one-time persuasion into an ongoing relationship built on evidence and integrity. Clarity earns rapid approvals because it honors both the executive's time and the organization's need for speed. When you frame decisions as stories with clear options, state confidence openly, and focus on the few drivers that matter, leaders act without hesitation. They understand what you ask, what it costs, and how it changes their exposure. That alignment, built on transparency, brevity, and credibility, is the real goal of presenting analysis. The win is not the perfect slide deck, but the decisive handshake that follows it, marking the moment when information became action. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.